Let us bow down our heads and close our eyes for a moment. All together. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Lord Jesus, thank you for the good life you have given to us. Bless us to be obedient to our parents, teachers, and others. Grant us wisdom and knowledge so that we can understand our roles and believe. Guide and protect us in the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Good morning, Teacher Lucio. Good morning, classmates. Good morning. Okay, take your seats. How are you today? Okay. You are fine? Yes. Okay, so that's good to hear. So are you ready for our next lesson? Yes. Okay, I hope so that you are all ready. But before that, again, we're going to have our pre-test examination on the different topics we are going to discuss this morning. It is about the constellation. Do you know about constellation? How much do you know about constellation? Have you known different constellations? Oh, sino dito? Among you here have known some of the constellations that can be found in the sky? Wala talaga? Okay, there are some who knows about constellation that can be found in the sky. Okay, let us see how much you have on your mind. Let us have our pre-test examination on constellations. Okay, so do you have your pens?
Yes.
Okay, so let's start now. Please get one and pass. So as soon as you receive your test booklets, please write your name on the respondents column. Right after writing your name, please, you can start now answering the set of questions given to you. So you have 20 sets of questions for your pre-test. if you are done, please pass your test booklets forward. Make sure that you have your names indicated on the booklets. Okay, so before we're going to formally start with our lesson or our new topic, we'll have to rewind or to review our past and previous topics. Okay, it's about the star, its size, temperature, and its brightness. So we have discussed that the stars are having different colors. So can you still recall what are those colors of the star according to their hotness? Okay, can you give me? Okay, anyone? Yes. From bluish white to red. Again, to red. Diretso tayo. Okay, is it from bluish white to down to red? Immediately, what follows after bluish white? Okay, Nicole. Okay, so we have bluish white, white. What color? Okay. Okay, we have yellow. After yellow, we have red. Agad ba tayo magre-red? Yes? Okay, orange and red. So again, we have the bluish white,
yellow, orange, red.
Okay, very good. So we have different colors of the stars, and that colors of the stars indicates their surface temperature. So what does it mean when you say bluish white? The color of the star is bluish white. What does it mean? Okay, Irish. Okay, it means that the star is hot. What about if the star is red in color? Yes, Eliza. Okay, it means that the star is cool, or it has a coolest surface temperature. So are you now excited?
Yes.
Okay, so I want to show you first this picture. Okay. What object you see? What object can you see? Anyone? Okay, yes, Liza. Okay, you have seen a constellation. Yes, that is a constellation. But have you seen an object if you are going to connect the dots? Okay, what object can you see? Anyone? Okay, anyone from the group? Okay, you pick on. Yes? Marshina? Okay, you have seen ladle. What is that ladle? Are you familiar with the ladle?
Yes.
Okay, what is a ladle? That is, in Filipino we call that one as?
Sandok.
Okay, very good. That is sandok. Ano ang sandok? May narinig ako. In Ilonggo, we call that one as? Luwag. Oh, yan. So in English, we call that one as ladle. In Filipino, sandok. And on our own language, we call this one as? Luwag. Okay, another one. What have you seen? Okay, yes? Yes, Ronette, you have seen? May narinig akong sinabi mo kanina. Anyone? Yes? Oh, what is that in English?
Man and women.
You have seen a man and a woman holding hands. Okay, a man and a woman holding hands. What other objects have you seen?
Dancing.
Aside from a man and a woman holding their hands.
Dancing.
Huh? Anyone from the group? Anyone? Okay. Anyone? Oh, come on guys, think. Do you see a man and a woman? Aside from seeing a man and a woman, what do you think is that particular object? Anyone, what about from this group? What about from this group? I'm just asking you, what can you see? Hmm? What can you see? Hmm? Anyone?
White, ma'am, white.
Yes, that is white. Object. Seeing upon this point or dot, connecting them, you can see, sabi kanina ng iba, I can see a man and a woman holding their hands. Yes, maybe. But, what do you think is this? Hmm? Anyone? Oh, bakit ng iba hindi nag-iisip? If that is, do you think what is this? They are? They are ano? What are they? What are they? Hmm? They are? What are they? They look like ano?
Stick, ma'am.
Stick? A stick? Okay, maybe it is a stick. What do you think? Anyone from this group? What do you think is that? Some other says it is a man and a woman holding their hands. Does it look like a man?
Yes.
How many men have you seen? 2. So therefore, if this man is 2, they look like? Hmm? They look like? Ano yung dalawang tao na magkapareho? What is that? Okay, very good. They look like twins. Human twins. Some others, sabi ng iba, they look like a man and a woman. That's still correct. Okay. So let us see later if your observations are correct. So I want to show you a presentation. Please look and listen. Okay, so you have your first presentation. You have observed the different constellation. What constellations being shown? Okay, now, first constellation is the Big Bear. By the way, when we say constellation, what does it mean? They are group of stars that okay, they're group of stars. What does it mean when you say group of stars? Aside from they are the group of stars, they form what? Okay, they form such patterns. Patterns. Ibig sabihin, meron silang mga forma na binubuo. Okay, so we have the first one, constellation. Raise your hand, watch. Big Dipper. Okay, what does it mean, yung Big Dipper? How can you identify that Big Dipper? It has 7 stars. Okay, anyone? It is consist of how many stars? 7 stars. Okay, its ladle is composed of how many stars? 4. Ladle, the one that is being used to hold. It is made up of how many stars? 4. Are you sure? Okay, it is only consist by 3 stars. And the rest, those who form its square, is consist of 4 stars. Okay, another one is? Okay, anyone? Okay, anyone? We have the? Anyone from this group? Okay, Liza. Cassiopeia. How can you identify the constellation Cassiopeia? Okay. Does it mean that if we look into the sky and we have seen group of stars that are consist of 5 stars, does it mean that on that constellation is Cassiopeia? How can you identify Cassiopeia? Okay, it forms the letter W. Okay. So, what about the others? We have the Big Dipper, the Cassiopeia. What other things you have remembered? Anyone from this group? Denmark. Orion. Okay, we have the Orion. What does it look like? Okay, it looks like a hunter. Very good. Okay, so what stars can you see on the Orion's constellation? Okay, you can find the Rigel. Where can you find the Rigel? On its left knees. Okay, what about the other stars? Tatlong Maria. What is that? Tatlong Maria? Where can you find that one? Tatlong Maria. Based on the presentation I have shown you. Anyone? Yes, Chodoro. It looks like a belt. So if we say that is a belt, where is it placed? On Orion's waist. Okay. What about the other star? Okay, it is the Betelgeuse. Where can you find the Betelgeuse? On Orion's right shoulder. Okay, so please take a look on this video.
Oh, hey guys! It's just gotten dark here, so we're spending a little time before bed looking at the night sky. And sometimes we like to look up at the stars and make up funny stories about the things that we see. Have you ever looked up at the clouds during the day and thought about what they looked like? A duck, an alligator, a shark, or even a bear? Well, people do the same thing with the stars, and they've done so for thousands of years. I'm sure you've noticed on a nice clear night how there are so many stars in the sky, more than you can probably count. Some stars look brighter to us than others, and the darker it is where you live, like if you're really far from the lights of a city, the more stars you can see. And for a long time, people have seen pictures among certain groups of stars, just like connect the dots. These groups of stars are sometimes called constellations, and scientists still use the names of these constellations to describe different parts of the night sky. Probably the most famous group of stars that's easiest to find is the Big Dipper. If you live in the northern hemisphere, you can spot it pretty easily in the northern part of the sky. It's made of 7 bright stars, and if you connect the dots of those stars, you'll see a big squarish bowl with a really long handle sticking out of it. In the United States, some people thought the stars looked like a big ladle or spoon, so they called it the Big Dipper. But just like the fluffy clouds we were talking about, groups of stars can look different to different people. In Great Britain, for example, the same 7 stars are called the Plough because they were thought to look like a farmer's plow. And people in Germany thought it looked like a wagon. And those same stars also reminded lots of ancient people of a giant bear. Scientists today consider the Big Dipper to be part of a bigger constellation that they call Ursa Major, for Great Bear. The Big Dipper is easiest to find in the summer when it's higher in the sky. But in the winter, you should look for another famous constellation, Orion. The first part that you'll probably see are the 3 bright stars in a row. In ancient Greece, stargazers thought that they looked like the belt of a great hunter. They thought the 2 bright stars above it would be where his shoulders were, and the 2 stars below it, his legs. The more people looked, the more other things they saw. And if you use your imagination and follow the stars from one of his shoulders, you can see another group of stars, like he's holding on to something, like a shield. And what are those fuzzy lights hanging from his belt? Well, kind of looks like a sword. There's a lot more to Orion than just a few stars. That's why when astronomers talk about constellations, they don't just mean the few stars that might look like something. They also mean all of the other stuff in that part of the night sky. So part of what gives Orion's sword its fuzzy brightness is a distant cloud of gas and dust called the Orion Nebula. That's part of the Orion constellation too. So what if you live in the southern hemisphere? Then keep your eyes open for the Crux, the smallest of the constellations. It's still pretty easy to find, especially in the winter, because of the 4 bright stars that make a cross, which is what its name means. The southern hemisphere is also a great place to find Sagittarius, a constellation that reminded ancient Greeks of a creature that was part man, part horse, shooting an arrow. For most people, the easiest way to find it is to look for the 8 stars that make this shape. To me, it looks more like a teapot, but that's why it's fun to make up stories. So the next time that you're outside and it's dark, look up and see if you can find any of these constellations or other groups of stars. Or you can just make up your own. Okay, Squeaks, let's find something that looks like a rat. See you next time on SciShow Kids! Also reminded lots of ancient people of a giant. Ready for more stargazing? Last time we talked about constellations, clusters of stars in the sky that appear together in a particular pattern, and have been given a super cool name like Draco or Hercules or Pegasus. And you might also remember that astronomers can use constellations to help them find objects in the night sky. After all, a big shape in the sky made of lots of stars is way easier to find than a single sparkly dot. But what if the thing you're trying to spot is a constellation? Are all of the constellations always visible in the sky from everywhere on Earth? Nope. To understand why, let's see how constellations appear to move across the night sky. For one thing, the constellations that you can see depend on where you are on the Earth when you're looking. People above the equator in the northern hemisphere see different constellations than people below the equator in the southern hemisphere. For example, this is Ursa Major, or the Great Bear constellation. Ursa Major is visible high in the sky in most parts of the northern hemisphere. And this is Crux, sometimes called the Southern Cross, the smallest of the constellations. Crux is highly visible in the southern hemisphere. So why is Ursa Major not as visible below the equator and Crux not as visible above the equator? Well, the Earth is round and rotates on a tilted axis, so certain parts of the world have better views of certain constellations than other parts do. Observers at the North Pole, for example, can really only see constellations that are visible north of the equator. They can't see the ones below that because the Earth is in the way. But if you're lucky enough to live near the equator, you can see all the constellations over the course of a year, which brings us to another point. The constellations that you can see don't just depend on where in the world you are. It also matters what time of year you're looking for them. To see where this is, let's take a look at Earth from space. Hey there, home planet. Here's the sun over here, and all those twinkly things are stars and constellations. You'll notice the right side of the Earth is darker than the left side. That's because it's nighttime on that side of the Earth. So people on this side of the planet have a great view of the stars and constellations over here. As the Earth rotates on its axis, whichever part of the planet is facing away from the sun has a great view of these stars during this season. Let's say it's winter if you're in the northern hemisphere, and summer if you're in the southern hemisphere. But as you know, the Earth isn't just spinning on its axis. It's also revolving around the sun. So as the Earth moves around the sun, the seasons change from, say, winter to spring, or in the southern hemisphere, summer to fall. And as the seasons change, so do the constellations that are visible at night. So several months later, you're now seeing these stars in this part of space. And as the Earth continues around the sun, the seasons change from spring to summer, or fall to winter in the south. And these stars are now visible to us at night. And finally, as that season fades and the Earth continues its path around the sun, giving us this group of stars. So, where the Earth is around the sun affects what season it is, and therefore what constellations are on display in the night sky. And that helps us tackle our big question. How do the constellations appear to move across the night sky? Their change in position during the night and over the year is actually a result of the Earth's motion. Depending on where in the world you are and when you're looking, different constellations will have moved into view in the night sky. What constellations are visible where you live this time of year? To find out, just grab a few friends, maybe some nice hot chocolate, and wait for dark to do some serious stargazing.
About the different constellations. Okay, so have you wondered already? So how did we see these constellations? With the use of? How can we see these constellations up in the sky? With the use of what? Okay, very good. With the use of a telescope. We cannot see this constellation by just looking up into the sky. Only if the stars are nearer to the Earth. But if they are farther, they are being used, or there are instruments being used to look for these patterns in the night sky. Okay, so some of the people, they're using what we call as the star map. Okay, if we have locations in the Philippines, we are using the map of the Philippines to locate the different stars in the sky. We are using the star map. They shows the position of the various constellations in the sky. So the star map shows the North Star or the Polaris in the north. Okay. Do you know what is a Polaris? Do you know what is a Polaris star? Okay, who among you here have known the Polaris star? Where can you find the Polaris star? Where can you find the Polaris star? On what direction? North direction. And it is a part of what constellation?
North Star.
It is a part of what constellation? Based on the video you have watched earlier, it is part of what? Wala talagang nakaisip? Okay, let's take a look again. Polaris is part of what? It is a part of what? Lemur. may I point out that this Big Dipper is a part of the Ursa Major or the Great Bear, and this Little Dipper is a part of the Ursa Minor, which is the small bear. So this one is a big bear and this one is a small bear. They look like bears, but inside these bears, you can see these patterns, which is the Big Dipper and the small or the Little Dipper. So between these stars, this one, these two stars, they are all pointing to one star located to the Little Dipper, which is the Polaris, or what we call as the North Star. Okay, have you understood?
Yes.
Okay, so the Big and the Little Dipper, they are all part of what constellation? The Big Dipper is a part of what constellation? The Ursa Major, or the Big Bear. What about the Little Dipper? They are part of what constellation? Okay, small bear, or what we call as the Ursa Minor. Okay, so can we proceed now? So why is it that these constellations, particularly the North Star or the Polaris Star, important? Why do you think so? Huh? Okay. Why do you think so? Anyone from the group? Why do you think stars are important?
Still time.
Yes? It tells the time. Okay, let's see if your answers are all correct. It will tell us the location. What else? It tells the direction. Okay, let us see if your answers are correct. Number 1. Okay. It serves as a compass to find the direction, especially to the sailors and navigators. So if they're looking for the north direction, they can look for the star or the north star or the Polaris star para makarating sila sa kanilang paroroonan. Especially if that man, they're just using sailboats or yung mga maliliit na bangka. Okay. What about the second? It can tell time. Very good. If you can see stars, then it only indicates that it is night. Very good. Okay. Next, we have number 3. What does it mean? Ancient people used the appearance of certain stars to forecast the weather conditions. In ancient times, we didn't use radio, telescope, or some other apparatus. But then we are just using the stars in the night sky to tell whether the weather tomorrow will become better or not. So when can we say that the stars, or when can we say that the weather tomorrow will be better? If the stars are Paano natin masasabi na ang klima kinabukasan o ang panahon kinabukasan ay magiging maganda? Kapag? What do you think? Ha? Very good. Pag nakakita tayo ng mga stars. Then when can we say that the weather tomorrow will become bad? Okay, if we cannot see the stars at night. Okay. So fair weather can be expected when stars are visible. Tama yung sinabi ni Kim Harold. We can see, if we can see stars at night, then we can say we have a fair weather by tomorrow. And if the stars are hidden or nakatago behind the clouds, maybe the next day will become cloudy or rainy. Okay. So, the scientists have considered also 12 constellation found at the 30 degrees centigrade or the 30-degree longitude of the Earth. Okay. Do you read newspapers?
Yes.
Have you? Anyone from the group have or is reading newspapers? Oh, no. Hindi kayo nagbabasa. But do you know your zodiac signs? Okay. Alam niyo yung zodiac signs niyo? Oh, who among here knows their zodiac sign? Okay, Eliza, what is your zodiac sign? Oh, Eliza says it is Aries. Anyone from the group? Yes. Capricorn. I am Taurus. Anyone from the group? Oh, nobody knows their zodiac sign. Chinese people, yes? Aries. Chinese people usually use the zodiac sign para mas mapaganda yung kanilang negosyo. Okay, so let us know your zodiac signs or the different constellation that can be found in 30-degree longitude. Okay, so we have first the, what does it look like? Okay, it looks like a drum or a sheep in our language. Am I right? Okay. What about this one? What does it look like? It looks like a oh, in our language we call that one as turo. Oh, isog na turo. What about the others? In English we call that one as bull. What about this one? Gemini or the race. Okay. Para silang taong magkadikit. Dalawang taong magkadikit. Twins. What about this one? What does it look like? Okay, very good. What about this?
Leo.
Okay, it looks like lion. Okay. What about this?
Virgo.
Okay, it looks like a virgin, ang female person. Virgin. Okay. What does it look like?
Balance.
It, balance. Where can you usually see balance? Very good. In the court of justice. You can see symbols of that in the court of justice or in the Supreme Court. You can see weighing scale. Tama? Okay. Aside from the Supreme Court, where can you see that one? In some other stores, you can see that one. Very good. Okay. What about this one? What does it look like?
Scorpio.
A?
Scorpio.
Okay. This one?
Sagittarius.
It looks like what?
Archer.
Okay. It is holding a
Arrow.
bow and an
Arrow.
Okay, correct. What about this one?
Capricorn.
Okay. What does it look like?
Bull.
Okay, correct. It looks like a goat. Aside from it is looking like a goat, what else? What does it? It looks like a goat having a very good. A goat having a okay. What does it mean? Okay, Aquarius from the word water. Okay, but seeing the picture, you can see what? Okay, a man or a woman. What is the man or a woman? Very good. You can see a man or a woman which is watering plants. Okay. What about this one? Pisces. Okay. What are there in Pisces? Fish. How many fishes have you seen? Okay, very good. Okay. What about this one? Snake. Okay. So some other scientists in the early studies they have considered 12 constellations, but the newest one they have now discovered another constellation which can be found in 30 degrees long. Okay, so let's watch this video.
been studying the skies for centuries, and who can blame them? It is beautiful up there. On any given clear night, there are probably more than 2,000 stars that you can see. And that's without a telescope. Way before telescopes were even invented, ancient astronomers tracked the movement of objects in the sky, and over time, one group of objects ended up getting a lot of attention. I'm talking about the 13 constellations that make up something called the zodiac. So, what's the zodiac, and which constellations are part of it? We'll get to that in just a sec, but first, do you remember what a constellation is? Sure you do. A constellation is a cluster of stars in the sky that are grouped together in a particular pattern and have been given a name. We've talked about a few famous constellations before, like Draco, Hercules, Pegasus, Ursa Major, and Crux. But none of these constellations are part of the zodiac. You might recognize some of the constellations that are in the zodiac, though. Do the names Gemini, Leo, or Sagittarius sound familiar? They're among the 13 zodiac constellations, and they actually form a kind of pattern in the sky. This pattern makes it easier for observers to know where to find each constellation throughout the course of the year. So, what are all the constellations in the zodiac, and what pattern do they form? Let's take a look. You know this guy, High Earth. At the beginning of the year, January, the constellation of Sagittarius is highly visible to us on Earth. The Greeks called Sagittarius the Archer because it looked like, well, a guy shooting a bow and arrow. Capricornus is also highly visible in January, toward the end of the month. It's sometimes called the sea goat, since it happens to have the head of a goat and the tail of a fish, which is not something you see every day. Next up in February is Aquarius, or the water bearer. A group of ancient people called the Babylonians thought that this group of stars looked like an old man pouring water from a pitcher. Moving on to March, this is Pisces, or the fishes. Pisces represents Venus, a Roman goddess who is said to have turned into a fish and jumped into a river to escape an evil monster. Aries is up in April. In Greek mythology, Aries was a ram with wings. The constellation of Taurus, visible in May, looks like a bull. It's named for the Roman god Jupiter, who could supposedly turn himself into a bull when he swam. June's prominent constellation, Gemini, is sometimes called the Twins, because it reminded the ancient Greeks of the twin sons of Zeus.